what's going on when I'm playing single note funk rock riffs like the one that you just heard? Or in this riff, for example. Or in this one. Well, in all of those examples, there's a lot of constant up and down strumming. There's also a big focus on muting with my fretting hand. When I hear guitar players struggle to get in the groove and loosen up when playing funky riffs like that, the problem is usually a combination of 3 common mistakes that players make when attempting to funk. So let's get right into them. If you're new here, my name is Ross Campbell from bulletproofguitarplayer.com. Welcome to my channel. Mistake number 1 is not using the wrist. If I mute the strings with my fretting hand and just strum constant up and down 16ths without involving my wrist in the motion, where is the motion going to be generated from? My elbow. What does that motion look like to you? Because to me it looks very stiff, very rigid, not funky at all. And a good funk player has the ability to loosen up when they play because stiffness and rigidity, they don't really work for this playing style, right? What helps with loosening up is incorporating some movement from the wrist with your strumming motion. So let's look at that. So visually that looks more loose and physically it feels loose and free, but in terms of the actual sound that I'm creating, it's still a bit stiff. And that leads me to mistake number 2, not using accents. When you accent certain notes in this funk-based playing style, you're strumming them harder than you would strum the other notes. You're targeting them with a more aggressive playing dynamic. I'm going to strum some 16th notes for 4 bars, and in the first bar, you're going to hear me apply accents to the first note in every group of 4 16th notes. You're then going to hear me move that to the second note in each group, then the third, and then lastly the fourth. Here's what that would sound like. Placing accents on certain notes like I just did there, it instantly creates a more loose and funky sound, which is obviously what we're aiming for here. So try practicing that at home to begin with before you start trying to add in fretted notes. And by the way, if you want to access bonus exercises plus all of the tab files for this lesson, you can do so by signing up to my website. Both the monthly and annual plans give you access to all site content, including Bulletproof Guitar Player Parts 1 and 2, which are my original online courses designed to guide intermediate players towards a more advanced level of guitar playing and all-round musicianship. Speaking of added in fretted notes, mistake number 3 has a lot to do with that. It's not muting effectively. It's not really possible to mute with your picking hand when you're playing things like this because your wrist is constantly in motion. You can't really anchor it to the bridge like you would for alternate picking, for example. You're more anchoring the bottom part of your forearm on the body of the guitar, but the picking hand itself and your wrist, they're always in the air. The examples that I've shown you guys so far have all been with dead notes, right? I've been muting the strings by gently resting my fingers across them so that when I strum, you don't hear any open strings and you also don't hear any fretted notes because I'm not actually applying enough pressure to fret anything. So here's how you can actually add in fretted notes while still muting the other strings. You want to grip the neck so that the side of your thumb is just gently resting against the low E string. Then you want to have your fingers resting diagonally across the strings so that they are pointing towards your body. If you strum through all of the strings and you get muted notes in return, then you're good to go. If you strum and you hear an open string or two, you need to look at your fingers and make sure that they are actually making contact with the strings beneath them. And if you get a fretted note, Again, figure out where that is and just make sure that you're not squeezing the neck too tight. You just want to have your fingers gently resting against the strings so that there's not enough pressure to actually fret anything. For this next exercise, you want to have your fretting hand gripping around the 5th fret, and you want to have your index finger above that fret on the D string. For the first strum, which will be a downstroke, you're going to push down and actually fret that note. And as soon as it's been played, you want to release that pressure off the string so that your finger doesn't lift off the string entirely, but just returns to gently resting on it so that it's muted. Then carry on strumming dead notes, but remember to fret the first 16th note in every group of 4, like I demonstrated earlier with the accents. And remember to actually accent that strum when you fret the note. Strum it hard and then go a bit softer for the up, down, up muted notes that come after it. So once you're able to play that exercise, try adding in other notes from the A minor pentatonic scale in between your muted 16ths. Accent the notes as you do and get creative with it. You'll find that muting strings whilst playing notes on the B and high E strings is quite a bit trickier than doing the same from the low E to the G string, but I generally like to stick to the lower strings for this style of playing anyway. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and like I said earlier, if you want to access bonus exercises plus the tab files for this video, head on over to bulletproofguitarplayer.com and get signed up with a monthly or annual plan. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe, do the bell notification thing, do all of that stuff, or don't. Well, I prefer it if you did, but anyway, thank you guys for watching again, and I will see you in the next one.